You're probably ahead of me here because you'll have seen the video title, but the customs note on this package says single board computer, and well, I don't think I've ordered any single board computers, so let's just open this up and see what's inside. And yes, now I do remember ordering this. This is the Pinecil soldering iron by the company Pine64, and let's say right from the start it's pretty much a Miniware TS100 knockoff or copy, but the Pinecil seems to have some advantages. Comparing the two, the Pinecil and the TS100, the Pinecil, well, it's a little bit bigger and a little bit uglier in my opinion. The Pinecil has this silicone type grip which sticks out a bit like a sore thumb, but it's probably better to hold on to while you actually solder. The position of the buttons on the Pinecil has moved compared to the TS100, and I think that's probably quite a good thing, because when I was using the TS100, well, I typically use my thumb here and I ended up pressing the buttons by mistake. The Pinecil here uses the Iron OS firmware, which is an open source firmware which was first developed actually for the TS100 and was previously referred to as the RALIM firmware. I've actually updated my TS100 to Iron OS, which is very simple to do, so from that point of view these two irons are very similar. So the advantage of the Pinecil seems fairly minor, so why did I buy one? Well, the TS100 can be powered from 12 to 24 volts DC through this barrel jack here, and that seems like a good solution here in the solar shed, where my main soldering iron is actually 230 volts and I prefer to use DC where possible. The trouble is that running my TS100 here from my 12 volt battery system, well, the TS100 power is restricted. That means it's slower to heat and maintain temperature. My 24 volt battery bank here in the shed sits at about 28 volts typically, so that's too high because it does say 12 to 24 volts on the TS100. And the micro USB connector on the bottom of here, which you can just see there, actually can't power the soldering iron. It's just for flashing it and powering the microcontroller. Now, Miniware did release the TS80 soldering iron, which dropped that barrel jack for a USB-C connector, but oddly they decided to use Qualcomm Quick Charge, which I thought, well, yeah, a bit odd. They later revised this to the TS80P and implemented USB-C power delivery, but both the TS80 irons were limited to just 30 watts, and actually the tip selection is quite limited, and they're relatively expensive. So although I've come close, I've never actually purchased a TS80 or a TS80P. The Pinecil uses the TS100 tips, of which more shapes and sizes are available, and clones of the Miniware tip are available for about $7 on AliExpress. The Pinecil uses the same barrel jack as the TS100, but it also comes with USB-C, and that will work with both Qualcomm Quick Charge 3.0 and USB power delivery up to 20 volts and 3 amps. So this iron is a 60 watt iron when powered by the appropriate USB power supply. It's worth me pointing out though, if you are a TS100 owner, you can take advantage of USB power delivery through an external module. Check out Brian Locke's Flexi Friend on Tindy for a nice solution to that problem, and I'll put links down below to that and, well, everything that's here. When I've been using the TS100 here in the shed, I've typically been using this power tool battery with this 3D printed connector, which goes to an XT connector there, and the barrel jack. And yeah, so I've typically been plugging this into there, and this provides up to 21 volts on this particular pack. The Pinecil uses the RISC-V microcontroller, which is surprisingly powerful. 32 bits running at 108 MHz with 128K of flash and 32K of SRAM. But it's a soldering iron, so why do we care? Well, there's an option to buy a USB breakout board from Pine64, which exposes some of the additional I/O pins. Now that means you can use this iron as a RISC-V development board for other projects, and I guess that explains the customs declaration of single board computer. That breakout exposes JTAG, it exposes analog to digital as well as digital to analog pins, I2C, SPI and UART. Sadly, when I ordered this iron, the breakout wasn't in stock, because I definitely would have bought it because it's only a $4 extra. I did buy this 1.5 meter silicon USB-C cable from Pine64, which I hope will feel nice at the end of the iron without restricting movement, and being silicon, it shouldn't burn if it catches the hot end. Without further ado, let's plug this in and heat it up. So the slowest result in the heat test was definitely the Qualcomm Quick Charge power bank here, which took the longest time. Next was probably my LiFePO 4 cells, which took a little while because they're only sat at about 13.5 volts at the moment. The PD charger, which plugs into those same LiFePO 4 cells though, that performed much better. It negotiated 15 volts with the iron, not the 20 volts both of these claim to be able to do, but at 15 volts it worked reasonably well. But the best was still the power drill battery at a raw 21 volts. That was definitely the fastest heat up time, but on balance I think that the PD charger connected to my LiFePO 4 cells will probably suit the shed best. Now, because I have one of these in the shed, this is a knockoff Hakko solder tip temperature gauge, I may as well try and use it. So the iron's set to 350 degrees and it does bounce around a little bit there, doesn't it? I'm currently using PD at 15 volts, as we can see on the side there. So first bit of solder there on the tip, and if I pop that on there, this is claiming about 335 degrees, so that's not too bad. Now there is a calibration system in the Iron OS software, but I need to check the manual to work out how to do that. Iron OS has loads of settings, and actually the menu system is fairly intuitive. The button on the right here, the one nearest the power connector, well, that cycles through the menus, and the one on the left nearest the tip, well, that changes the actual settings. So if I go into settings, we can see we can change the power source here, for example, to 5S, because my battery here is a 5S system. And what that will do is, if we go back to the main menu, which is there, it now gives a battery indicator because it knows how the voltage of the input. So yeah, it gives you an idea on how much power you've got left in your battery, which is quite nice. You can then change the desired voltage for the Qualcomm and the PD, and as you can see, if you just hover over the menu, as it were, for a little while, the scrolling text explains the menu. So yeah, it's really nice. Soldering settings, sleep mode, because it will conserve battery by sleeping when you're not using it and then wake up when you pick it up. Various user interface parameters and advanced options. Yeah, there's loads of stuff in there to play around with. Quick soldering test, so we'll heat the iron up. Again, I'm on PD now, and you can see that is warming up. It's sat at 15 volts. Can you see that? Yeah, 15 volts PD. It's negotiated on the right hand side. Still not been able to make it get 20 volts, which is a bit of a shame, but we're up to 350 degrees Celsius. I've got a fairly big pad here, and I'm just gonna heat that up, and yeah, that's all right. Don't seem to be able or required to put that into boost mode. I'm being able to solder what is a pretty large pad here on this board, and flood lots of solder into that, and yeah, I think that's pretty good. Not so keen on the conical tip that comes with this soldering iron, but yeah, let it cool down and heat up again. Yeah, it's definitely working well enough for me, that. So I have to say, I really like the Pinecil, and I'd definitely buy one of these again over and above the TS100. The fact that it uses the same relatively cheap tips, and it's got the power delivery and Qualcomm quick charge in it, as well as all the other features that you can get on the TS100, I think this is a little winner. And what's best about this is, it only cost me $25 US. Now there was, I think, $11 shipping on top of that, but for $36, this is a cracking little soldering iron. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe down below, comment if you can, and I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.